Hi, welcome to the Science Show. Every year, Mia and her family pick fresh strawberries in a field owned by a farmer named Gus. But this year, the plants don't have many ripe berries, and soon they will all fall off. That doesn't bode well for Gus or anyone else in town who relies on his delicious produce. Something's not right here. Can Mia and her brother Leo figure out what's going on and how they can help? Let's see how science can save the day. Mia and her brother Leo love summertime on their family's farm. They spend their days exploring the meadows, forests, and creek that surround their home. This year, though, something seems different. Usually they play in the sprawling strawberry fields with their friend Gus, whose family owns the farm next door. But lately, they haven't been spending much time there. As they approach the house, they can hear Gus's mom pacing back and forth inside. "What's wrong?" asks Mia. "I don't know," says Leo, "but I think it has something to do with these plants." As they look closer, they can see that most of the strawberry plants are missing their ripe berries, and the ones that do have berries have just a few. Normally, according to Gus, there would be enough berries on each plant to feed an entire family for a week. But this year, the plants aren't producing nearly enough food for them to harvest and sell at the local market. Just then, Gus comes running outside to greet his friends. "Why aren't you guys helping me pick berries today?" he asks. "We wanted to ask you why your plants aren't doing so well," says Mia. "We've noticed that there aren't any ripe berries, and we wanted to see if you were okay." "Oh, it's nothing," says Gus, sounding like he'd rather not talk about it. "It's just business." He turns away, hiding his disappointment. But before he can say anything more, his mom calls him inside. Determined to find out what's going on, Mia and Leo decide to investigate. The first step is to gather clues, and there are plenty of signs that point to one main issue: bees. Without bees, there would be no berries, apples, cherries, tomatoes, or squash. And lots of other foods we eat every day wouldn't exist without them. That's because bees and other pollinators transfer pollen from one plant to another. And when the pollen lands on a flower, it can fertilize it. Then that flower can grow into a fruit or vegetable. To understand why the plants aren't producing fruit, Mia and Leo need to learn more about bees. They head over to the library to do some research. They learned that bees live in colonies with thousands of other bees working together. In the spring, when plants start to bloom, worker bees leave the hive to find food. As they fly from flower to flower, pollen sticks to their furry bodies. When they land on a new flower, some of the pollen falls off and the flower is pollinated. After returning to the hive, the bees pass on the pollen to other bees so that they can continue the process and make more plants into fruits and vegetables. But there's a problem. Recently, bee colonies all over the world have been disappearing. It's called bee colony collapse disorder, and scientists aren't exactly sure what causes it. One possible cause is pesticides, which are chemicals used to kill insects like mosquitoes and ticks. But pesticides can also kill bees and other pollinators. So Mia and Leo's next step is to ask their families and friends if they are using any pesticides around their farms and gardens. Their neighbor, Mrs. Featherstone, says she uses pesticides in her garden to protect her prize-winning roses, while Mr. Smith, who grows corn and soybeans across the road, says he has to use pesticides to stop bugs from eating his crops. Back at the library, Mia and Leo learned that even though pesticides work, there are better ways to keep bugs away from our crops. They can't wait to tell Mr. Smith what they learned. On their way to Mr. Smith's farm, they meet up with Gus. He's feeling a little left out, so Mia tells him all about their investigation. Suddenly, Leo shouts, "Look, a bee!" Before he can finish his sentence, Leo runs behind Mia, covering his face. She looks at him in surprise. "Are you afraid of bees, Leo?" I don't know," he says. "I guess I am. You always run away whenever you see one." Mia thinks for a moment. "Well, I guess we could get rid of all the bees in the area and then there wouldn't be any bee stings. But that wouldn't help Gus's plants grow." Leo takes a deep breath and slowly takes his hands away from his eyes. "You're right," he says. "If I want to be a scientist, I can't be afraid of bees. I mean, they are kind of scary, but I can do this." When they arrive at the farm, Mr. Smith is very busy planting soybeans. "Mr. Smith, have you ever thought about not using pesticides on your crops?" asks Mia. "Why would I do that?" asks Mr. Smith. "Because pesticides can kill bees and other pollinators, and then your crops won't grow." Mr. Smith shakes his head. "No, no, no. My crops are growing just fine. I don't need your advice." He walks away without listening to another word they have to say. Disappointed that Mr. Smith didn't listen to them, Mia and Leo walk back home. On their way, they see Mrs. Featherstone watering her roses. "Mrs. Featherstone," says Mia, "did you know that pesticides can hurt bees and other pollinators?" "I don't care about those pesky bees stealing my rose bushes," says Mrs. Featherstone. "They can't hurt me because I have a big, beautiful fence around my garden." "But how does that help the plants?" asks Leo. "It doesn't," says Mrs. Featherstone, "and that's why I need to use pesticides." Mia and Leo run home and tell their parents about their investigation. Their parents are very proud of the work they've done, but they're disappointed that they haven't been able to help Gus. "Maybe there's nothing we can do," says Mia. "Oh, I don't know," says her dad. "How about starting a pollinator garden full of flowers and plants that attract pollinators like bees?" "That's a great idea," says Mia. "We can plant a pollinator garden at school," suggests Leo. The next day, Mia and Leo ask their classmates if they can plant a pollinator garden at school. Most of the students are excited about the idea, but they need their teacher, Ms. Green, to approve it first. "Ms. Green, we want to plant a pollinator garden," says Mia. "That sounds like a great project, but where would we even start?" asks Ms. Green. "We were hoping you could help us," says Leo. "Okay," says Ms. Green, smiling. "Let's get started." After school, Mia and her friends start digging a big hole in the ground. They mix soil and compost in a wheelbarrow to make rich, fertile soil for their plants. Then they dig even deeper and add in more compost. Next, they start filling up the hole with small sticks and stones so the water will drain properly. The next day, the class gathers in the garden to plant native trees and shrubs. A few weeks later, the plants start to sprout and the garden looks beautiful. Soon, butterflies and other pollinators start visiting the flowers. Just then, Gus runs over to the garden. "Wow, this looks great," he says. "My plants need pollinators like bees, butterflies, and beetles to grow, and now they have a whole garden full of them." "It was all because of your berries," says Mia. "What do you mean?" asks Gus. "Well, when your plants weren't doing well, we investigated and found out that you needed pollinators. So we planted this garden to help you and other farmers in the area." Gus smiles. "Thanks, Mia." He looks at his plants and smiles even bigger. "I bet they'll do much better this year." So thanks to Mia and Leo, Gus's plants grow strong and healthy. Everyone in town is happy to have fresh berries in their meals again. And Mia and Leo learned that even though bees can be scary, they're important and helpful. Now it's time for your challenge. Go outside and count how many pollinators you can see in your neighborhood. Can you find any bees? How about butterflies, beetles, or other pollinators? There are lots of pollinators out there and they're all important. We couldn't live without them. If you want to keep helping pollinators, you can also plant a pollinator garden like Mia and Leo did at school. Native plants are a great option because they support local pollinators that have already adapted to eat them. Some examples are sunflowers, coneflowers, asters, and goldenrods. But remember, pollinators need more than just flowers to survive. They also need places to hide from predators and shelter from the weather. So make sure your pollinator garden has plenty of trees, shrubs, and rocks for them to explore. Do you want to know more about pollinators? Check out the website below. And if you want to help the bees, don't buy honey made by large commercial operations. Instead, look for local beekeepers who use sustainable practices. Thank you for watching. Please leave me a comment and tell me if you liked this video, and I would be grateful if you give me ideas to make more similar videos. Please hit the button like and subscribe. This helped me to create more interesting videos. See you tomorrow.